I've hit the start recording. Recording has started.
It says so, yeah.
Everybody can see that? Right, happy days. Right, well, welcome everybody to this next Teams meeting of LAVCH. I'm going to talk about the heating controls we use at Grimsby Village Hall, which is the Hive system. And then Simon, when he gets back from work, is going to talk to us a bit about how you can link a calendar to heating controls, which I'm very much looking forward to. So, don't mind me if I have to read from notes, because I knew I'd be forgetting everything, so I wrote myself some notes. In terms of a Hive controller, some of you may have them in your houses. Yes, no?
Can I, before you go on to the Hive control, what sort of heating system have you got? Oil?
Well, the first thing I was going to say is that actually our village hall makes it a little bit complicated.
Ah, right, okay.
Installation does require some knowledge and understanding, both of what Hive can do and also the village hall heating system. Ours was a little complicated, as we have a hot air system in the main hall and radiators in the Dorothy, rather than try to send things that I can see popping up, can you try and get your microphone and ask questions towards the end? Otherwise, it's going to be quite disruptive for me. Is that okay? Right, back to where I was. We have a hot air system in the main hall and radiators and loos in the small hall. The hot air for the main hall is provided by fans blowing over hot water, heating water pipes. Those also run the radiators in the loos and the small hall. Hence, it's not possible to have the heating on in the main hall without it also being on in the loos and the small hall. Now, you'd want it on in the loos anyway, but ideally we wouldn't want it on in the small hall. We were able to separate the fans out. This is the royal we, by the way. It was a hubby who intervened quite significantly to help with this, to put them on a separate controller. So we can heat the small hall without heating the main hall, but you've still got that hot water all going around the whole system. So it's not, from that perspective, particularly efficient. Ideally, everything would be completely separate for the small hall and the main hall. But we still managed to get it to work, and it did save us a lot of money. So we've actually got two thermostats with their associated controllers. One in the small hall and one in the main hall. And I will answer now that, yes, Dorothy, you do need to be able to have internet access to be able to use a Hive controller, because that's how you control it, which I'll get onto in a bit. Whatever your heating system is at your village hall will obviously be different, but there should be ways of controlling pretty well any system with a Hive. If not a Hive, I know there are other, and I ought to say this, I should be like the BBC, other heating control mechanisms are available. And some may actually be a lot more simple, but we know the Hive. I opted for that simply because it is the one we have at home, and I'm a bit of an old dog and I don't like new tricks. So once the thing is installed, we actually did get a plumber to install ours, the one who used to service our boilers. Yeah, it wasn't entirely successful, to be honest. Hubby had to finish the job. But anyway, we did manage to get it installed. Once it's installed, there is an account for it. That is accessed by an email address. You can also have second users on the system using their same email address. But at Grimsby, we just use one email address and different people can access it. The control can be accessed via a laptop, but it's more designed to be used via an app on a phone or tablet, but I'm actually going to show you the laptop. So on to what it looks like. Right, this is the next bit of me trying to remember, old dog and new tricks, how to share my screen. Share screen. Share entire screen. Share. Can you now see my screen?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Somebody's saying yes, somebody's saying no.
Yes.
Instead of my face, yeah? So instead of my face now, you should have the page of my laptop that shows the Hive controller. Good. Excellent. So that's how the Hive home screen looks on our on the internet web-based control. So as you can see at Grimsby, we have all these different control things, which I will explain in a minute. There's the main hall, as I described, nice and toasty in there at the moment. There's the small hall, That one that says small hall, unfortunately, you can't have your hot water not have the same name as one of your actual heating things. So although it says small hall, the tap gives it the clue that that's actually the hot water. We also control separately our car park lighting and 2 different groups of fridges using Hive plugs. So as well as controlling your heating controls, you can have, I don't know if there's a limit to how many Hive plugs you can have, but you can have a load of plugs which can control other things. Now, at the moment, we are not having many bars, so our fridges are permanently off. So I repurposed that one there and used it for controlling the Christmas tree lights at Christmas. So there's all sorts of things you can control with a Hive. Anyway, back to the heating, the main thing you're interested in. So let's just look at the main hall. Click. So that's the screen showing the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all of the hours from 0 through to midnight. And as you can see, at the most of it at the moment, understandably, is just set for that little thingy there, that little snowflake that indicates it's on frost setting. There's 2 particular groups that are in the hall who I have particular fondness for, and they are a bunch of senior citizens. So for their sessions, it's currently set to never go below 17 degrees because I can't have those people being frozen when they get to the village hall. However, it's on a thermostat, so that won't actually be kicking in at the moment. So how easy is it to set? Well, I sit once a week and go through the calendar for what's going on. Now, let's just say we've just had a new group that's going to start on a Tuesday, and they're going to be in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And they're going to be in from, let's say, 10 o'clock. So move that fella to 10 o'clock, and they're going to finish at
2:30.
3 o'clock, right?
Right.
And they like to be reasonably warm. So I'm going to put their heating at 19 degrees.
What's the thermostat in your hall? Sorry to interrupt.
Go on.
What's the thermostat in your hall set at?
Whatever I set it at.
Yeah, I just wondered how warm you let them get.
Whatever I set it at.
Yes, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, now it's set for a Tuesday afternoon at 19 degrees.
So that's your thermostat in the hall?
Yeah.
Ah, right, I see. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, now,
on the
as you
minimum.
can see, it's now 24 degrees in that village hall.
Yeah. No, I get
Just
it.
to really show you how this works, okay? That's the period that we're in now. Now you look at that. It's clearly, it's not on, is it? It's set at 7. Let's just see what happens if I go whack, 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 whack. Let's absolutely fry you, anybody. I happen to know there's nobody in there. I wouldn't be doing this otherwise, right? So we want to absolutely fry the users of the village hall. Close. Save. You see that? That's now the thermostat at the village hall. On that basis, whilst I'm sat at my home in 103 Preston Road, I can tell you now there's things going tick, 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 at the village hall, and the heating has just come on, even though I'm the thick end of a mile away from it.
Yeah.
Because of what I've just done there. Now I better get it back off again for obvious reasons, because the boiler's going to be seriously pissed off with me. What you doing? Seven degrees is frost protection, because that keeps it all as you want it if it gets cold outside, because obviously the thermostat isn't necessarily at the coldest part of the hall. So let's get back to what I was doing on that Tuesday. So I've now set it that every Tuesday at that time it's going to be 19 degrees. But if that group's going to be in for 3 days, it's a bit of a pain in the bum to have to do it again for each of the 3 days. Not that big a pain, but there we go. You can copy Tuesday and copy it to Wednesday and copy it to Thursday. And you can suddenly think, oh, no, didn't want to do that. And you can just undo them all again. Yeah? So it's pretty easy, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you only see 1 week at a time? Is this why we're going to have how we link it to a calendar?
I'm going to be curious to see what Simon says.
Yeah. Okay.
For us, yes, it is. It does mean that you have the week settings set as they are just for that forthcoming week. That's
Yeah.
why I sit and reprogram it generally on a Sunday. At the moment, we're actually having lots of things on Sunday evening, so I have to go in and check again during the week just to reset the Sunday for the Sunday coming. But yes, it has to be reset once a week.
Yeah. Okay.
As I say, other systems other than Hive, you may be able to set for months in advance. I don't know. With calendars and everything, being much more technical and integrated these days, maybe you can. But on Hive, yes, you just set it for the week. To me, it is designed much more about a domestic situation, when generally your domestic arrangements tend to stay the same, don't they, for the week?
They do. They do.
Yeah. So while I'm here, because I know me and I forget, I'm just going to take this little one back down again.
So how long, I mean, this would apply to any heating system. How long before you're expecting a group coming in, do you put your heating on?
Now, I would actually say it doesn't depend on, it doesn't, well, it does apply to any heating system, but you need to know your heating system. I've realized I used to be far too, I was going to say conservative, but I used to have it coming on a lot earlier than I needed to. I would have it sometimes heating up for 2-3 hours, like for a preschool group that we used to have, only to quickly realize that most groups are usually doing an element of setup in the first half hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And because ours is a warm air system, I can actually leave it till quite close to the people coming in before I need to turn it on. I have to be slightly wary about turning it off too early, because it also gets a bit chilly in there, because it's the warm air that's being pushed down and around them that makes them feel nice and warm.
Right.
Do you have a ready buy control, Eileen? Because I've got a ready buy. Ready buy. So it will, if I say it's got to be on at 19 degrees at 7 a.m.
Ready buy. I do think Hive can do that. I do think it can do that. However,
I've got that on my Hive.
Yeah, we used that at home, and Steve wasn't that happy with it. He didn't find that reliable. And for our village hall, there's a number of factors. One, we actually have the Hive controller locked away in a little box that everybody calls the bird box, because it looks like a bird box. We knew that if we left it visible on the wall, people would mess with it. And there's a heck of a lag because of the, it's got its own little air pocket around it. So there's a heck of a lag. So I've just had to build up a level of experience to be able to set it for roughly when it needs to be turned on in time for any group coming in.
Yeah.
And it is based on knowledge and experience as well. As I say, groups like toddler groups, the first thing they do is get out an awful lot of play equipment. They actually don't want it that warm at all, because when they're doing that, they're a bunch of mums. They don't want to be hot and sweaty while they're putting the play equipment out. By the time they've done that, all the kids have arrived, and that bunch of bodies actually warm the room as much as our heating almost.
Well, it also depends on what the temperature is outside, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah, so I will start bringing the on times more as winter sets in. If it's literally freezing outside, then certainly I would have it on generally for about minimum of half an hour, more likely an hour for most groups. But if it's puppy training, I kind of think, nah, you don't want hot dogs, do you?
Yeah.
But our lace making group, my God, they really do want it at 23. Yeah, they absolutely want it at 23. And yet we had a knitting group who wanted it at 17.
Yeah.
So this is where the knowledge and understanding of the regular user groups, and I have a table which has got them all written down, because as I alter them each year, you can see now I've got nothing set because it's summer. I've got to remember what all of this lot has to be based on that calendar when we come to September. So when we come to September and we've got a very busy hall coming up, then I've got to know what all of those have to be reset to.
Yeah.
Parties and functions, again, I keep it cool for when I know they're arriving to set up. Also, because of that lag, I know that it will actually get a bit too warm and then it'll cut out. So if it's during the winter, I'll have it sometimes a slightly cooler period and then warm it up again, just so to account for the lag. I'm getting too complicated now. However, the heating systems, you do have to build up knowledge and experience of how to set this thing. But that's exactly the same as it is for your own manual controls. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other things on the Hive, back to the dashboard. Oh, I've got to go up a bit. Tick, 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 tick. My hive home. So that was the main hall. Oh, sorry. The other thing I meant to show you on this screen and the thing, you can also see the record of what the temperature has been. Yeah. So I can see what it has been today. It's lovely to see just how steady it is, but it has been steady generally. But I can see what it was like yesterday. Got warm because we had a group in yesterday evening. I can see what it's been like this week. Not much there yet. I can see what it's been like last week. And I can see what it's been like this month and last month. And even though we've had some fairly chilly days, we haven't got too much variation thanks to our improved insulation. Yay. So obviously you can do for that, we can do that for each of the rooms. Where that does get handy is we've actually got a dodgy boiler at the moment, and it sometimes fails to ignite. So whenever I'm getting twitchy, I just go and have a quick look to see, has it done anything yet this morning? And if it has, and I'm okay, then I know I don't have to go legging it up to the village hall to reignite the boiler.
How old is your boiler?
40 years.
40 years.
Nobody can remember them being changed, and the hall was built, it opened in 1983. So yes, it's limping it along, and I just want it to keep limping for another couple of years maybe. And then we'll do something good.
It's great that you can link such an old boiler to such a sophisticated control system.
That was a massive problem. That's why when I say the guy came to do it, even though he was the guy who worked for the firm that had been servicing those boilers ever since I had anything to do with the hall, the technology and the control system, the trying to marry the two together were just beyond him. And so my hubby and another electrician stepped in, and between the two of them, they managed to figure out ways, but they had to do things like installing additional relays, stuff that, to be honest, even though I was a one-time engineer, it's just way over my head. And it was interesting, hubby and this electrician, they kind of recognized that they were stumbling in the dark because they hadn't used some of these old relays of that sort of type, you know, in their careers. But we managed by hook or by crook.
Yeah. So basically, the only, apart from just taking out our boiler control vis-a-vis the time clock, etc., there would have to be an internet, wireless or direct hardwired link to a router.
Yes, there's a hub which at our village hall is installed in the bar, because that is between the main hall and the small hall, and that I think we've hardwired that into the router. Yes, right. We have. We've hardwired that into the router, but it then talks wirelessly to the controls for each of the two thermostats for the small hall and the main hall. And then the smart plugs that we've got control wirelessly with that hub as well.
Right, brilliant.
It is. I'm well impressed. Yes. Right. What else?
How much do you think you've saved, Eileen?
I'll get onto that right at the end.
Oh, sorry.
I've got it in my notes. Don't worry, I'm not going to skip that bit. That's the best bit.
Right.
So the hot water, just going through the small hall, as I say, is just a similar thing. But now the hot water.
Sorry, Eileen, just for 5 minutes. I've just got something going on upstairs that the children are very upset and screaming. But I'll so I'll go and help the wife out for a moment. And,
right, that's allowed, Simon. That is allowed. Thank Lovely to see you and safely back home. I was panicking that you were going to crash the car joining us in.
No, I've dialed in so I could listen. But yeah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and
not a problem.
And you've got the link to what I want to talk about.
Calm the kids, and we look forward to
priorities,
seeing you.
Simon. Priorities.
Absolutely, family has to come first. Yeah.
Back in
2 minutes. Cheers, Pep. So, hot water. It's all the same way of controlling it, but it's just on off. Yeah. Is the hot water on or is the hot water off? And that's all controlled completely independently of the heating. The plugs, same thing. They are just on or off. They're all set looking like they're going to come on and go off. I think that was for the Christmas tree lights, but they're actually, see here, they're currently on manual. So although they say on, they're not. And I've just got them off. So I can click that off. They're now on. I better click that back off again because I've just turned the fridges on at the village hall and I don't want them coming on at the moment. So that's all very responsive and very, very straightforward and very simple. The other one that's important for us is we managed to find a way to set up our car park lighting in the same way using a smart plug. Whoa, where's that gone? Ah, lovely. An uninspected error has occurred. These things happen. Refresh. This is where I hope that it does come back again. I might have to re-log in again.
No.
Oh, my hub is not talking to us. Nice. Now, on to something that I was going to touch on the notes is that these systems do sometimes fall over. It's rare, actually, that happens. I think the last time that happened probably was about 18 months ago. But it does happen. I'll be honest, I've got absolutely no idea why it's happened. It could just be that the router's gone down. Right. It's definitely looking like it's not going to come back. Okay, I can take another look at that later, maybe after Simon has done his bit. But to be honest, all I was going to do was to show you the smart plugs for the car park lighting, which are exactly the same as the other two plugs and the hot water. They just turn on and off. And it means that I can set the car park lighting to come on at sunset and go off at sunrise. It is a bit of a pity that I can't see the rest of this, because let me just see if I can my Hive home. No, okay. I was going to talk you through, well, I can still talk you through. I've only shown you the absolute surface, the bare minimum of what the Hive system can do. It has a lot of other things bedded into it. So, for example, you can use sunset and sunrise times for turning things on and off. There's a whole host of things listed which are pre-programmed controls, like turn a light on when a door is open. So you can have switches installed that will detect that a door is open and it can turn a light on. You can link your heating to your front door, which I'll be honest is something I am a bit interested in, because I'd quite like to, I might as well stop sharing for now. I'd quite like to at some point. Have I stopped sharing? Can you all see me again now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd quite like at some point in the future, when we've changed our front door, to consider setting up that our heating goes off when somebody leaves the front door open. Because at the moment, that's probably one of our biggest wastages, the fact that people leave all the doors open and the heat just goes heating the sky. But as I say, we don't use any of those at the moment. So yeah, once a week, just going through my notes again. I've already covered that bit. Oh, the other thing is that I do make mistakes. Every now and then, I'll get a panicked message from somebody saying, "I've just arrived at the village hall and it's freezing." And I encourage all of our regular users to carry my mobile number, because it doesn't matter where I am in the world. And as some of you know, I travel quite a lot. If I get a WhatsApp message, I can pull my mobile phone out of my pocket and turn the heating on. And that doesn't matter if I'm in Spain, France, Scotland, or Timbuktu. The Hive control, it just operates like anything else that operates over the internet. So you can turn it on and off from wherever you are in the world. I did spend all of last year's trip in Europe struggling a lot, because the Google calendars had altered to my current location and were showing all the times wrong. And that was really making it difficult setting the Hive, until I realized I was being an absolute dim idiot. And I can opt to have at least one of my devices showing the Google Calendar in Britain. That made my life a lot easier this year. Okay, so Anne, you were asking about what was the effect of it all. Right, well, it's been an incremental one, achieving the savings that we have. The system was first installed in autumn 2018. It was then improved at a later date with separating out the small hall control independent of the main hall. And then COVID muddled everything up. However, I looked back at our gas bills, and our gas bills for the period to end of September, so that's a month before the system was installed, were, try and remember these numbers, £3,865. And then in the period to the end of September 2020, where, oh, I've lost it. Hold on. I've not typed that bit in. just bear with. Here it is. Oh, gas bill, gas. We're £2,699. So that's from 3,865 to 2,699. Yeah, so that's a pretty dramatic reduction.
Sorry, was that September 2020?
Yes.
But we're locked down in March.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. COVID muddled everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the period, the thing that actually matters is what is our utilization as a percentage of income. So what is our gas usage as a percentage of income? Because income is pretty proportionate to whole usage.
Mhm.
So I've also tracked those figures. And in 2018, the cost of gas was 7.1% of our total income. In 2023, so that's the most recent completed period, that dropped to 3.5%. So from 7.1 down to 3.5%. And as I say, it's the introduction of the hive. It's also thanks to the hive and my learning, realizing in the latter year or so that I didn't need to even have the system on as much as I thought I did, because people don't need the rooms as warm as I thought they did, or as early as I thought they did. So proportionate to income, it's roughly halved our gas usage. That's all in pounds though, and I'll be badgering my treasurer a bit more to please provide me with a whole bunch of statements, because I want to get it in units. I do know now that that's changed dramatically this year, because like everybody else, we've had gas price increases, and up until March this year we were on a really low pounds rate, but we had been all the way through that time. That's gone up now, so I need to know what the units are so I can do a real measure of comparing apples with apples rather than apples with pears. Okay. Okay. So Simon, sorry you missed a chunk of mine.
Yes, I'll catch up on the recording later.
Yes, okay. But you are now with us. So before we move on to Simon, has anybody else got any questions about the hive system?
Not about hive, but only to say that these smart plugs, I was thinking about it for our bar, because our chillers just sit there running and make the bar really hot, and then we're running an extractor fan to keep it cool. It's a vicious circle. So I've got as far as investigating them, and if you go on Amazon, you can buy these smart plugs really cheaply. I mean, obviously you must need the internet to operate them, but without having the whole hive thing, you could.
No, you're absolutely right. Smart plugs don't need the hive at all. You can just get
Yeah.
smart plugs and just connect them via wireless to your router.
And if you know what you're doing, Alexa can control them for you as well.
Yep, absolutely. We've started doing that at home.
And you can do routines on Alexa.
Yeah.
Routines on Alexa.
Timings.
You can on Hive as well, Simon, but I just
Yeah.
never really dived into it. It requires a slightly higher level of knowledge than I can be asked to acquire.
Yeah, but yeah, if you knew it was only on Saturday afternoon, for example, and you can, you can just say to Alexa, just put it on Saturday afternoons and create a schedule, and it'll do it.
Yeah.
What was the rough cost of installation for the?
Our hive cost more than it should have done to install, because as I was explaining, the guy who came to do it, it should only have taken a day. He took 2 to 3 days to not actually complete the job. The hive at the time, the actual unit, the package in the unit, I think was only about 100, 150 quid, but I think we ended up having to pay him another 400 to not do the job. But you should be able to get a hive installed really within a day. So it's whatever you pay your contractors for a day's work.
Yeah, because you can either get a contractor to do it or have willing to do the install as well. But I suppose it's better having somebody that actually understands the local system to do it.
That's what we thought, and to be absolutely honest, Rob, we realised we wasted 400 quid.
Yeah.
We should have just not tried going down that route, and just should have got Hobby to more or less do it himself.
Yeah, our boiler's a lot younger than yours, so hopefully we can. Yeah,
you should be able to DIY it, and it's not expensive at all. Yeah.
All you basically do is leave your boiler on permanently.
Yeah.
on thermostat control, and the Hive just shows thermostat contacts.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we've got four circuits on our system.
Right.
Main hall, lounge, toilets, and a hallway. So we'd be looking to control all four. Plus hot water.
So what sort of heating system have you got, Rob?
So we've got gas heating and electric hot water on a insulated cylinder.
Right.
So our issue is we're currently on pre-programmed thermostats in each of the rooms, which can be overwritten by either manually, and we have groups that come in and they switch it to manual, override, then leave the central heating running. Other groups will come in and it's hot, so they leave the windows open. So again, we need to look at installing a Hive system to control the heating, and then as we go forward, look at window sensors and things like, and door sensors and things like that, so that we can control it better.
Yep, that all makes sense.
We got Hive about 2 years ago. We got British Gas, which Hive belongs to install it. I think it cost us 250 quid.
Okay.
They're very good. If you ring up and there's an issue, they're really, really good, because they can go into your system and look at it and say what's wrong and take you step by step through the issues and resolve them. We have a 2-zone system, and we were heating the upstairs rooms unnecessarily when we had the hall. The hall was one system, and then the kitchen and toilets and the upstairs room was everywhere else. So when we had a party on in the main hall, the kitchen and toilets were heated, but so was upstairs. So now we've installed radiator valves upstairs. So for 90% of the time, it's the hall and the downstairs. So they come on, but upstairs isn't heated up at all. So, we're saving a lot of money in that respect.
Super. Simon, do you want to show us then how you can link such systems to a calendar?
Yes. Can you click the links and do your screen sharing for me, please? Only because I've
Oh
not
yes,
got the
of
email
course.
open.
I need to do that bit, don't I?
Yeah, if that's all right,
Give me a
please.
second. Yep.
But
where
yeah,
are
we have. So I don't use Hive or Nest or anything. I'll admit that. So our hall has our heating's actually built into the air conditioning unit, and it can't be connected to the internet. It's too old, and they don't do one that connects to the internet for our particular type of air conditioning system, because I asked when it was serviced a couple of years ago. So and I don't actually have it at home either. So I will say I don't actually have first-hand experience, but I am well aware of a couple of websites that I sent the links to Eileen a few days ago for. So if you've got Nest or Hive, it's the email you replied to at lunchtime.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I thought there was something you were hoping I was going to pull up now. I'm just trying to now set you up to be able to share.
Well, I've not got email open myself.
Hold on. Here we go. No.
Yeah. But if you can,
right. You should be able to share now. Or I can go into the email. Which would you prefer?
For you to do it, please.
Right. Okay.
Only because I'm.
Not a problem. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'm just going into the email first to get them open before I then share it.
Yeah.
Which one do you want first?
The one that goes to Hive, because there's Nest on one, Hive on the other. Because you might as well give it a try.
Let me.
Yeah. Now. So I don't know about every hall, but I know a lot of halls now use Google Calendar to store all the bookings to be on the website.
Yep.
So if you've got a Google Calendar with all the bookings on, there's websites such as this one that will link different things together. So for example, Google Calendar to Hive. So you can, if you scroll down a touch, I think it tells you the kinds of things you can do.
Too fast.
Yeah, but the simple idea is that you link things together. So create new Hive actions to reflect updated events in Google Calendar, like that bottom left one there. So that will update your Hive calendar, I assume, based on your Google Calendar.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, or Hive projects that you might be able to do. As I say, I've not actually used these. It was only something that I thought might be useful for people to know about, so that if they do have these kinds of systems, this is free to sign up for the basic features, which most things are for like one set of actions. They start then charging you for usage, which obviously wipes out any benefit of saving if they're charging you £5 a month. But for the basic stuff, you set up a free account and you just do what it calls at the bottom their core features, and most things will work without having to pay for them. So this is the one for Hive, and also this is Zapier.
Okay.
But there's also which I think was If This Then That. I can't remember now. IFT. So that can link calendars to Nest as well.
Right.
So basically, depending on which system you end up going for, you can then set up clever links that it can look at your calendar, see when you've got events and pre-populate it. But it'll probably only bring it in at 19 degrees or something like that. So you might have to tweak it if you know that group likes it at 23. But yeah, just a useful thing to know about, really, to speed up the process of going, right, who's in this week? You can get it to bring the calendar over for you, and then you've just got to glance at it for quick tweaks on temperatures.
So you're using this, Simon, are you?
I'm not using this, no.
Oh.
But I'm just aware of the technology, and I know people that do use it.
Is this one also free to use as well?
Yes, but again, if this that only allows you kind of one free thing, and then they start charging you.
Yeah.
So it might not let you put your lights on as well as your heating on or whatever it does through this without charging you a couple of pounds a month or whatever.
I think you've got to look at where your biggest savings are going to be made, aren't it? Or as a person that's updating the calendar, the one that gives you the most time saving.
Yes.
Just link that individual one to the Google Calendar, and the others can be controlled through the Hive system.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So it's just having a look at it, and I just thought I'd show people that those two websites.
No, it's good to know that sort of technology is out there, without a doubt. Yeah.
I wonder
when they'll be able to start linking to Hallmaster.
Yes, that'll be next.
I wonder how it copes with turning the heating on in advance. So on your Google Calendar, you're going to have a group in between, say 9 and 10 in the morning, aren't you? But maybe you want to put your heating on at 8 or something.
An hour before, yeah. And again, having not used it, I don't know, but
I suspect that would be part of the rules that you can set up.
Yeah,
I'd suspect that quite strongly, that you can set up different rules, but without having more of a look at it, I don't really know.
It'd be a bit daft to devise a system like that unless you could turn it on in advance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, usually you can set those kinds of things, or if you've got Hallmaster and you can tell it to do a half an hour buffer zone before every booking or something. If it's not a problem, use that buffer zone as extra warm-up time.
Well, our straightforward Honeywell thermostats, if you want it on at 10 o'clock in the morning, it automatically assesses what the temperature is now 2 hours in front of that.
Right.
Turns the heating on so that it gets to that temperature at that time.
Yeah, that's what Annette was referring to earlier, weren't you, Annette, when you were saying,
ready by. Yeah.
Ready by, that was it. Yeah.
The Honeywell thermostats do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good technology.
Okay. Anything else on questions on heating controls?
Well, no, but I'm interested in heating because obviously we've got the ground source heat pump, so we've got underfloor heating downstairs. We've got radiators upstairs, but obviously underfloor heating is much slower.
Yeah.
And we've got a big space to heat up. So currently we just leave it on. And so we've no idea what it would cost if we turned it on and off and what have you. But I just think it might be, I think, and nobody really can give me an answer.
When you say you leave it turned on, you mean it's set at a thermostat? It's a thermostat, but that thermostat maintains it at a set temperature all year round.
Yeah, day and night. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously in the summer, it's not coming on.
Yeah.
No. I've no idea. I do know though, with underfloor heating on heat pumps, ground source, the best thing is to just leave them on. So because of that huge lag that you have in the from when you turn it on. I mean, we've got a couple of underfloors in our house, and I know that. In fact, the room I'm sat in now, the sunroom, is the one we've only just done, and that had underfloor heating in. But yeah, if you wanted to warm the room, you'd have to turn the heating on 2, 3, 4 hours before you want the room warm. However, the heat pump that's just sat on the wall where I'm pointing there, that'll have this room warm, nice and toasty in about 10 minutes. And that's an air source heat pump, and that just zaps everything nice and warm, nice and quickly. And that's probably the direction our village hall is going to go, but it's a complicated project that we're about to embark on.
Air source.
Yeah, that's very much a watch this space because there's a lot of complex, particularly remember that recent thing that we discovered, well, where I and not only me, thankfully, were shown to be wrong in that we're not entitled to 5% VAT on all of our fuel bills. It is capped. And if you combine your electric and gas units, quite a lot of village halls will be over that cap, ourselves included.
Well, we've just changed from Eon, I think we were with. This is all part of the solar panels going on the roof and being able to feed back into the grid and things. So we've just changed to Octopus, and the chap that's been dealing with it has managed to arrange that we've still got the 5% VAT. Quite how, I don't know.
I don't get that one, Anne. Not with your fuel bills. I know what they are now.
No,
I have no idea how you get that. You are way, way, way over that cap. You are multiples of that cap for electricity, but just keep quiet. Get your head down.
We're just keeping quiet. You lot better keep quiet as well.
Yeah. Well, it's also based on your usage. And if you're prepared to either flannel it or, frankly, bullshit, the nature of your usage, you can persuade them that you should be at 5% VAT. But our treasurer is a very honest man, and having done it twice, he didn't feel comfortable about sending them another table of, frankly, BS. So he just fessed up. So we've had 2 bills since we changed supplier, and one of which they charged us a 20% VAT. The next one, because it's actually for each day you are over a set usage that you get determined on the 5% versus 20%. So our last bill was back to 5%. Yeah, but we shall see. I have contacted Acre and asked them to look into this for us, particularly seeing as they did do that very excellent job of mapping out the future towards net zero for village halls in that presentation as part of their Village Halls Week. But they have come back with me with a response along the lines of, "Ooh, we better look into that." So we don't know where we are on that one yet. I mean, for me, it's the direction we've all got to go anyway. I know different people have different ideas on fossil fuels and all the rest of it, but I'm very much a campaigner for the fact that we have to just stop using them, period. So one way or another, all of our properties and everything else are going to be heated by and lit by different means than anything deemed from fossil fuels at some point in the future. When that point is open to debate.
Yeah, our hall's pure electric. We don't have gas at all.
Good for you.
So that's
We don't
good
have
and
that.
bad. But we've got solar panels.
It is still, it's that awful period where the technology isn't quite there yet, and there's various other things yet to be done. But we're the same at home. You know, we live in an old property, and everybody says you can't put heat pumps in old properties. But I'll tell you now, he's determined he is going to. It's just a matter of timing.
But then interested to know how you get on, because I'm in an old house. And
yeah, well, the first thing he did, because he had to reconvert it, because the people who converted it originally did an absolutely shite job and then didn't maintain it very well, so he had to basically rip out and start again. So the first thing he did was just insulate everything properly. You know, it maddens him that if you get a contractor to do anything, even though building regs stipulate that all properties now and extensions have to be done to a really high level of insulation, when it comes to actually executing it, they don't do it properly. And you've got drafts, holes, gaps, and all sorts, meaning that the vast majority of houses being built now, I would swear, are actually as leaky as hell, because all the builders aren't doing things properly. Sweeping statement, but all my experience of contractors would attest to that. And the fact that we're still installing gas boilers in new build properties is just madness in my mind. But yeah, as I say, I'm now sat in the sunroom as part of that extension, and it's a heat pump on the wall, which keeps this room the room that I live in. Yeah. And with all the solar panels and everything that we put on, he's said that we are now back to a zero cost overall for all of our fuel bills on this property, and that includes running an electric vehicle. Zero, nyat, nada. Thanks to Octopus, because we sell all of our solar generated back to Octopus, and we went with solar panels back in the days of the proper feed-in tariff. So our electric income now wipes out our gas bill. So that's very nice. Can be done. Can be done, and that's leading to Grimsby Village Hall as well.
Does that have a sort of finite period of time?
It does, yes. There's still another 12 years to run, though.
Yes, I was going to say it's like our renewable heat incentive for the ground source heat pump. Yeah. Yeah. And
the Village Hall, we put one in. Sadly, we missed the very highest tariff rate on the Village Hall, so we got the next one down, which was 40% of the original. And I just hope that by the time we reach the point where that runs out, that things have improved so much that other heating systems and everything are much more efficient. And I do have things like all of the doors replaced to have ones that cut the heating off if idiots leave all the doors open. But stepwise improvements.
Mm.
Has anybody got any general questions on anything?
Well, I was just well, before I logged in, I was just looking briefly at that thing from Acre about safeguarding, and it took at the beginning of it, I can't just quite remember what it said. It mentioned something about support from your local Acre sort of representative, which for us is Community Futures, isn't it?
Yep.
So it was just made me think about, what do Acre think Community Futures are doing for us? That was where I was coming from. So it's just an open question, really, because clearly if Acre are putting out things like that, they're expecting their local. I don't know what the arrangement is, whether Community Futures get some sort of funding from them or.
Opposite, Community Futures have to pay to be members of Acre.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So what are they getting from it then?
I don't know. I've had exactly the same thoughts running through my head. I don't quite understand what the relationship there is entirely. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, Community Futures have revised again their proposal for village halls. We're back to a situation where all of us get free membership entirely of Community Futures, and they will provide any of the Acre documents also to us for free. So I guess they could say that is their part, that they'll send you the Acre document for free.
Right.
I'm still toying with whether or not we shouldn't put them on our website, seeing as I went and nicked them all from Community Futures 3 years ago. But then I would have to maintain if there's updates and things, and how do I know if there's an update, and so not so sure about that. That could cause us as trustees, there's 4 of us, 5 of us in there.
Statement across the top, correct as of September 21 or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's the latest one that I've been sending out to anybody who's asked. Yeah. But their explanation of the 5 versus 20% VAT, Acres, is by far to me one of the clearest ones there is out there. It's quite a bit clearer than picking your way through the government website on that. So some of those documents certainly are useful. I mean, maybe we should push Community Futures to at least have a list. They have said now that they won't make them available to download from their website because they want to be able to build up a picture of what people are asking for. But I guess they could at least put a list on.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, a list and next to it the date that it was last updated.
Is there not a list on the members page?
On Community Futures or us?
Community Futures.
I don't know. I shall take a little look.
This is a members page, isn't there?
I still haven't got access to that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know our password because we paid, but now we haven't paid because it's free. And so they just gave me the password, and I thought there was a long list of all the different guidance.
There probably is, Annette. You're probably right. There probably is. I need to just go through
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
getting my access set up.
Yeah.
So then do we have to, if we look at the list and think we want a certain thing, we have to ask them then, do we? You can't just click on it and it downloads it.
I don't know.
Well, that was what Denise said that she wasn't prepared to do, to have it that you could just download it directly from the website.
Right.
I mean, if their website, I think, should be able to be designed in such a way that you know when somebody clicks to download. So they should be able to get that information anyway. So maybe we should feed that back to her.
Yeah. I don't know.
Isn't it? Oh, it's saying we've only got 5 minutes left.
Yes, I know. Yes, it's 5 minutes. It's good, this Teams meeting, because it does remind me to encourage me not to let us overrun, which is, I quite like that. It controls me.
Do you think I mean, I hate safeguarding with a passion, not because I don't think it's important, but I think it always seems to take forever to sort out policies and this, that and the other. Do you think that's something that's worthy of a general discussion about what people are doing?
Well, we did have a bit of a one, didn't we, at the AGM? It was a topic then.
Yeah, we did.
And as a result of that, I know that us and Grimser, me and Sean looked at each other and went, bollocks, we probably do need one. On the grounds that we were originally saying is that we just hire out the venue. And therefore, it's not us who needs the policy, it's our user groups. And they should know all of that because of our hire agreement says they have to know the law. But then we realised, apart from functions where we employ bar staff, some of whom are quite young, glass collectors are certainly of an age that now means that, although, as I say, we're not having many bars, but it means that we now realise we probably need safeguarding policy. So it'll be something that we do have to develop. But that was the level of discussion we had at the AGM.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be one just to. Well, I mean, I know, Simon's, you've uploaded yours, haven't you, on your website? So we can all go and nick that if we want to. Yeah,
feel free to have a read. If there's any problems with it, let me know.
Well, looking at
the more people proofreading it, the better.
I only briefly glanced at that acre thing. Oh, sorry, this is Henry that's just
hello, Henry,
to the screen.
Jack.
I mean, they seem to have they seem to have all sorts of reasons why you should have a safeguarding policy, even if you weren't directly responsible for the thing. And also, they were talking about your hire agreement, how important it was to have the hire agreement, because that was sort of like passing the responsibility over formally to your hirer. Anyway.
I think, is there any of us who don't have a hire agreement?
No, I mean, I have one, but I mean, I think ours is all done online, and we just have put a rider that we assume that you have read this and agree to it, because people won't return things, they won't sign things. So paper things are a complete waste of space. And whether they've got the option to click then, so we can see whether they've accepted it. But just chasing them to say, will you, we just don't do it. We just have this rider.
That's actually one of my slight concerns about us moving over to Hallmaster because of that. I mean, I presume those who've got it, it's a similar thing. There's a box somewhere that people tick to say they've read it. But I think if you're just ticking a box, the chances of you reading it is diddly squat. I mean, Sean, I don't know what you feel for the likelihood of when we send paper, or at least people have to print something and write on it. If you think that increases the likelihood that they've actually read the reverse side of it. What do you reckon?
No, not always, probably not, but we say they have to sign it and send it back as part of securing the booking. So we do.
So you get it back?
We get it back.
Yes, we do.
Right.
They don't get the booking. if
We
it's
just
not
ask for
returned.
confirmation, but we don't accept the booking until we've received a confirmation email from them, which basically says that they've accepted the terms and conditions and read them.
Yeah.
Perhaps we ought.
And contract law means that you're in just as robust a situation as we are with the written on signed piece of paper. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perhaps
Yeah.
we ought
Yeah.
to
On,
tighten that.
on Whole Master, they tick a box,
Mm.
but apparently they can't book unless they tick that box.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I can book because I'm an administrator, so it does leave them open. They've ticked the box, they've said they've agreed to it, and that. So if they don't tick the box, they can't make the booking.
Oh, right. Well, I have to see if we can alter our booking system then to
Yeah,
do.
but that's like a lot of things, isn't it? Where you
Yeah.
online, if you do stuff, you have to
Yeah.
agree to the terms and
Well, that's
conditions.
really useful, Annette,
Yeah,
to
you
know
should
that.
have that from yours, Anne.
Yeah. I think.
Well,
yeah.
I was wondering if Hall Master can be tweaked, if there were any particular policies that you felt were really crucial, whether or not it could be tweaked to have some specific policies pulled out from the hire agreement to say, including, policy 18 or whatever. But then the difficulty there is that they say, well, I knew that one, but I didn't read the other.
I think you
Yeah.
can, because we've got the safeguarding. They're both on our website, so they've got to read that. They're not integrated into Whole Master, but they've got to read them to tick. And I think you can create. You've read the safeguarding policy, so they've got to tick
Right,
that box
okay.
as well. I'm not sure. I don't know if we've got that, but
Mm.
certainly the
Okay.
safeguarding policy is there.
Yeah, certainly the booking system I use, you can make it so that they say they've agreed to terms and conditions, and the terms and conditions is actually a link to our paper hire document off the website.
Right.
So they've agreed to
that's
exactly the
better.
same terms and conditions and just filled it in electronically, effectively. But
Yeah.
in reality, nobody reads it. But I don't think they did when it was on paper. So I'm
No.
not that concerned in a lot of ways. Yeah, if someone's doing something wrong, we'll fine them or whatever out of the deposit, and
Yeah.
we've got a legal agreement with them to do that technically.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. And as Sean will tell you, and we do.
Yeah.
And we do
For
regularly.
yes, for information, you're asking about Community Futures list of publications. And I've just logged into Community Futures while we've been talking. They have a Word document that you fill in that requests those publications. But last updated, well, it says it's a 2023 publications list, but I've not actually found anything that's been updated before about.
So it is a list of all the publications, so you can tick the ones you want.
Yeah, and then you email it to Stephanie at Community Futures.
I'll tell you what, that probably takes them a lot more work than just having them downloadable off their website.
Clunky if they're bothered about the cost of being connected with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
That's it.
stick them
They
on your
could save
website and
themselves so much time and money.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, we can set up as trustees. We can have another chat sometime in the not too distant future about what our next communication with Community Futures should be.
Yeah. Good.
Definitely.
Anyway, give best wishes to Teresa if you're in contact with her.
Yes, we'll do. Yes, no, she seems to be getting better, okay, and stuff. I haven't actually messaged her for a couple of weeks, other than the stuff for today, where she was saying, and rightly so, she's not actually linked to a village hall anymore. She has no interest in village hall heating controls. But
sensible woman.
Yes,
sensible woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Has anybody else got any particular questions, observations, or bits of beautiful news they want to share? No. Other than the fact we've had some nice couple of sunny days. No.
I know. Great.
You've done good in the Olympics today. Had a few medals winners today. The Olympics.
Absolutely. Yeah, the riders did well. Yeah.
We like good news. We like good news.
Manic Monday.
Well, in that case, it just remains for me to thank Sean, Rob, Anne, Peter and Barbara, Roger, Annette and Simon for attending, and Simon once again for showing us that interesting thing that there is more scope for automating things. I do like automation.
Yes,
I'm just a little bit too thick for some of it.
Thank you to you too, Adeline, for sharing.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, then. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Many thanks.